You're listening to the C1D Paintball Podcast.
Hey there, Andrew. Welcome to the C1D Paintball Podcast. I am joined tonight by Mike.
How's it going, guys?
And I'm also joined by Connor. Hello, Connor.
Hello, I'm very concerned with you. It looks like you might burn the face of the sun.
Oh, yes.
How bright it is.
I've got the screens here all set up for those of you watching on YouTube. You can tell for those of you listening on Spotify. Yeah, I got screens open here, so it's white. I'm usually pasty white. Usually I got weird colors going on, so I look more jaundiced, like I'm like in my kidneys are failing, but I don't feel like they are. They very well could be, but I don't feel like they are. And look,
I get pretty pasty in the wintertime, too.
Yeah, I'm tired of that. As we record this, because who knows when you're listening to it, it's the start of March. And the paintball itch. There was a few of the guys went out yesterday to play in the snow, which there's only one picture of one guy before he went in. And I guess the pictures would be all white because they said that the call-outs, they could only play on base, right? Because they couldn't even get upstairs where the other fields are. So yeah, for call-outs, we're using things like snowdrifts. And it's like, that's cool. And at the same time, yeah, not too upset I missed it, but I'm happy the guys that went out had fun. It's just, see, I would go out and do that for half an hour, 45 minutes, and but then it would be like I'll just watch. I can't watch from inside, but anyway. So
I had a nice coffee break. I think I'd be down. I'm pretty jealous. I couldn't have made it.
It would have been fun. I actually considered going out, but I had a family thing which ended up getting pushed back because of that snow anyway. But yeah, so for today's show, for this morning's show, because I don't know when you're listening to this, the four people that will listen to it, got some stuff I wrote down and that were just kind of on my mind. And this is going to be cold, so Mike and Connor don't know. It's a short little list, and things snowball and such. So let's talk about it. And it's about rules I think need to be enforced in a field. Or these are common rules that I think fields should have. And it kind of, the reason why I bring it up on the show as well, because I get to choose what we talk about, but that's not the only reason. It's because it goes back to that thing about people trying to grow communities and kind of make it friendly and open to a lot of people. And some of these rules do apply with that. And who knows what wacky road is going to happen here. Now, my wife is watching the Oscars, and I heard her walking upstairs. So there'll be this just like traffic as she goes back and forth between commercials, making sure she doesn't miss a moment of that 3.5 hour show of movies that she might have seen like 2 of.
I was with her in the pre-show. She didn't recognize a single movie that they were talking about.
Okay.
I haven't seen a good movie.
Pretty weak year for movies, paintball aside.
I saw Nosferatu yesterday, and I thought it was good. Now, not best actor good, best rather picture good, but filmed very well in that. Good if you like scary. I could get into a whole discussion of the Oscars when I was a kid. The Star Wars won 1 Oscar, was nominated for like 1 or 2. Sorry, when it came out in '77, and I sat up watching that. It's like, yay, best costume design, yes! And they got it, and the guys were walking around like stormtroopers on the stage. And the only thing I thought of is, I bet you people think this will go away. Star Wars will last forever. Apparently it has. But anyway, maybe
it really has.
That's the only award any sci-fi thing will ever win, is like a best costume or best
cinematography,
visuals, whatever. It will never win actually anything.
The first Dune, I thought visually was stunning, but this is why people are listening to us for us to talk about cinematography.
Okay, well, yeah. And your opinion on Dune 2 is invalid because you watched on the airplane only, on the little
I said
TV
Dune
thing.
1. I did see it there. I mean, if you can appreciate it there, you can appreciate it.
You're supposed to watch a movie.
I know. Actually, Nosferatu,
especially a real movie.
Yeah, Nosferatu was like visually like great, but it's about a 55-inch TV they had, and they closed the curtains in the apartment where I went to one of the teachers where my wife works went to to watch it there, but she had these big white walls around it. So you're watching this really, it's a scary movie, setting a tone and all that, and it just kind of loses something with all that. But again, okay.
Yeah, and your white skin didn't help either.
Yes, my
You're
pale
lighting
skin,
up
like
the
a,
room. You're just a light. You're just a light bulb too.
I was like
so
the
you're lighting up the
vampire.
room.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, you
no!
were the vampire.
Close the windows.
All right, rule number 1.
Rule number 1. Okay, rules that need to be in either at a field, or I wrote rules need to be enforced. I only have 5 things, and I'm so lazy I didn't even review them right now. I'm just gonna read them. Okay.
Hopefully they don't overlap.
Okay, this is big because I'm doing a video about it right now. That'll be out not tomorrow, but next week. Dead men don't talk. Be diligent, I wrote. And here's the funny thing is the video I'm recording, I'll ask each of your opinions on it. The video I'm recording, Connor went around the corner, say that really quick, like 4 times. And he one-tapped me and got me in the inside of the thigh. He got it close to the boys, but he didn't hit the boys. But of course, I'm like laughing, and somebody said that wasn't a good shot. I said, I'll be the judge of that. And I walk off, and Nick sees where I get hit. Nick's there, and he's like, "Dead men don't talk." And you just see my finger, and I go, "Fuck you, Nick." And I walk off, like that's kind of C1D in a nutshell, right? We're just screwing with each other. That's not what I mean about dead men don't talk. And I won't give away what happens at the end of the video, but it's to do with that. But the fact of the matter is, it's just a rule for me that, and you tell noobs once or twice, but actually, here's the question. I'm going to ask what you think of it. And if you've had any instances, and Connor, I'll let you go second because I know you've had a couple. As a matter of fact, Connor, you can even talk about the video, that what happens at the end of that one, because it's not as if we have millions of people just sitting on the edge of a seat. Oh, I've got to bookmark that video. And if you
For next Monday, yeah,
for next Monday, I go right ahead. Yeah. So, Mike, what do you think of that? The dead men don't talk, and to be diligent. Although I do let wacky talk go in when I do that myself.
I think it's a super good rule. I have a hard time at big games occasionally. If I get taken out and I'm walking back, I might, like big events or something, I might be like, yeah, there's a couple guys, over there. But it sucks because it's happened to me. Like, I know for a fact I've been hidden well, taken out a few people, and those people have definitely given up my position. So it goes both ways. But definitely in the small games that we play, at the fields, it's definitely a rule that we should stay strict to, because it's cheating. You know what I mean? It's just cheating. If you get shot, you're eliminated. You should not, if you want to joke around and be like, oh, I got shot in the nuts or whatever, but you should not be saying anything about positions, how many people are left, where you got shot from, anything, because I just feel like it's a form of cheating, and it sucks. So that's how I'm sitting on it.
Now I'll let Connor talk. And by the way, I let when it happens in this video, I let him talk for a while, but then I kind of blurt him out as he's talking over, discussing it reasonably with the refs and the players involved. The only thing I should have precursored it with is I will do it sometimes in the event like it's all noobs left. Or like, let's say I look up and it's you two are against the noob. I'm stuck with the noob and spawn. And it's like, I'll go there and I'll get hit. And, you two are against, and I'll go something like, hey man, there's a guy on the right. Just make sure you watch him. Like, I think that's the only acceptable thing. But anyway, Connor, don't want to steal your thunder. Your thoughts on dead men don't talk?
Well, I'm definitely a cheater then, I guess. I'm a repeated offender, but I feel like whenever I do it, it's kind of, it's never in a bad way. Is that similar to what you were saying, Dad? I'll say it most of the time whenever, like, if I'm with some inexperienced players, or maybe say I'm going against somebody that's pretty talented, and they knock me out, and so maybe they're still in that super competitive mode, and I look back to who's left on my team, and I'll kind of be like, hey, like, whatever, it's saying it to them, like the other team, it's like, hey, watch who's left, don't go super crazy mode or whatever. Like, I'll never really speak to my team, about it. So I'm more tell the other team to settle down. And yeah, in terms of big games, I definitely talk to, I'll be honest, but it's never like, hey guys, I died from here, go in and kill them. It's always like
Yeah.
I'm walking back and I see people that are like really, really far back where there's like no shot of them getting hit. And I'm like, guys, like move up, move up. We need you in. We need you in. Like
Yeah,
that. So I don't think that's really, breaking the rule. But in context of the video though, from that's gonna release in a week, is that after getting my dad close to my first home, I flanked around in the woods and got around like going all the way around kind of at we're playing the big game, so it's the village, the market, and even tires. And from tires, I'm kind of walking along the out of bounds wall towards village. And as I'm flanking, I see the enemy team in market, and they have no clue I'm there. I'm flanking for minutes and minutes. It's almost 10 minutes of me just sneaking
it's
around.
13 minutes.
Okay. So I was being really stealthy because I knew at how far I was, I couldn't shoot them. I wasn't going to hit them. And so I'm flanking all the way around them. My idea is that I'll go to the spawn points in village that's closest to market. And then after I'll like close in and shoot them all in the back. And I can't remember whether I killed a guy or he just well, I guess I killed him.
He was eliminated. The guy was eliminated. Yeah, and he was standing just there waiting. Like he waited like 10 minutes after you shot him. He's standing outside the safe zone, just standing there watching.
Yeah, so I took him out, and immediately he started yelling to all of his teammates after I killed him. Like he has his hand up, his marker up, whatever. Like he's out. No lives. Like he's dead. And he just called out to his whole team that I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure if I remember right too, it's like I just said like fuck it, I'm out. Like I was pissed off because like I never do sneaky stuff like that. Never ever. And I was so upset. I remember talking to the ref too. And when I was whatever, it's embarrassing to say, but I was like so angry. I wasn't gonna cry, but I felt like I was going to. I was like hyperventilating almost because I was like so pissed. It's like, dude, like this sucks. Like I never do something like that, and I'm pretty sure if I remember right too, it was an experienced player too.
They
it wasn't
were
like
all experienced players on both teams. That's
and
what
so
was
the fact that he did it, it really felt like disrespectful, and maybe it's because he doesn't know what kind of player I am. Maybe he thought I was, gonna speedball light them up all on their back. I wasn't gonna do that. If they don't see me, I don't really have to,
Yeah. He knew you were there. He actually waited a little bit before he said anything. And he was just waiting, just standing there outside the safe zone, kind of looking around. And just when because like I said, it's 13 minutes and he's going across behind everybody. He's going to get in village. And all my team, because I was on the other team, I'd been eliminated, all left the village and they're going up and they're on the other field. So for those of you who don't know the field, you're listening to this, it's multiple fields on it. Our spawn field, everybody left. Connor is about to go in there, get directly behind him, like just shaft him. And this guy who's been out for a few minutes, who Connor got before, is like, he's right down there. And Connor get upset. Terrible. It's like, and it's like the end of the game. And they were experienced players. So, I mean, especially, and we said, we are testing. We're testing this big game.
That's a prime example of just how it really, really sucks. I mean, you spent so long.
Yeah.
So long getting back there, and you potentially could have just smoked them all. Yeah. That's terrible.
And that's when I learned my lesson. I'm not doing stuff like that ever again. I'm not patient enough. The one time I was, it didn't pay off, so never again.
You were patient. You were patient in that game, waiting for me because I was the one in the forest, as I tend to be. I got to stop doing that on those mini big games because you guys know I go there all the time. But you waited patiently for me because I already got hit when you hit me there, like in the sensitive spot. I went to spawn. I went right back. So you waited, and anyway, that was one of those things that happened. Okay, the next one. Here's one that I really think we need to do more. It really bothers me, especially on base. When you're spawning and you can see the enemy team, your marker down until the ref blows the whistle or starts the horn or whatever. So you're not just sitting there with it up, ready to shoot, and when they say go, that bothers me. But Connor, I'm going to let you go for it. You know where I learned that the most, right? Was a
Yeah,
game
for
type.
sure.
Yeah. He knows where I learned that. Connor, what are your thoughts on that and on that whole marker down to start?
I don't know. I honestly kind of I'm impartial to it. Is that I think it's definitely good to have if players kind of just they want to nobody wants to die off the beginning, right? It's shitty when you die within a second, but also I think it's fine to do without it because if you know like hey I'm not gonna fight in the middle, I want to run on the side. You don't have to stand directly in the middle. You can be kind of just right there and immediately step out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're brave enough to stay there with your marker up, and you might get hit, but if you take out 3 guys, right? If that's fun for you, it's like, hey, I died right away, but I killed 3 people. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? It's not like you're forced to start directly in the middle and die.
Yeah, no, I get that.
If you don't want to kind of take the bullets, take the shots, you can kind of stay on the outside.
What's more impressive is taking out 2 or 3 guys and you still waited a second and you Clint Eastwood and without even aiming and getting them.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's a little dumb that you can have it fully up.
Okay.
But yeah, no, like you shouldn't just be ready to shoot instantly, finger on the trigger. Probably, I agree with that.
We learned that playing in LaSalle Paintball.
LaSalle.
Yeah, especially certain game types where you're playing instead of the wide part of the field, you're playing from the narrow wall to wall, the second floor. People would start playing commando with their marker up, and you'd instantly lose like 6 guys. And it was like, and
it's just drop to the ground.
And for those of you who don't know, it's one of these game types that somebody always gets pissed off playing it. Is you usually have to ask, has everybody played commando before? And they're like, I haven't before. And I said, do you got a temper?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess to think with that, though, too, it's you consider the length of the field, right?
Yeah.
Like, if when you pull the trigger, the ball hits them within a second, marker is absolutely down. But if you can see them, but they're so far that it's not going to really reach them, maybe have it up, it's fine. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's like not just a field specific. Like when I say field, I mean like you go to Warzone, it's like on every field. Maybe it's more of a map specific rule.
Yeah, like Tire Ball's the smallest field on it.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter if you have your marker up, but you shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean like if you're on Village, right? Having your marker up's not going to do anything. The people are so far and whatever, so why not have your marker up on that? But then tires, you should have it down or something.
Mike, is this something you've experienced?
So it's been kind of it was just always kind of a staple to me. Even at Capital Combat Zone, for some reason, the field was so big, small group of people. The ref just reminded us, hey, when you start, it was part of the rules. When you start, have your marker down, whistle, pull it up, run, do whatever you want. And then, of course, when we went to Army Globe, it was this. Their staple was gun on the wall, kind of. If you can't remember to put your gun down, put your marker on the wall, kind of, and then pull it up. And I kind of liked that. Like, made me feel like I was in a video game popping up. And then when we played at base, it was always definitely when we were right across from each other. It was just marker on the wall. But even then, there's players like skilled like Mikey who practice that because they start on speedball. They start like that. They have to start and pull up. So even when we have that rule on base, like it's Mikey will get me in the beginning. Yeah. It was that little field we went to, Lancaster.
Oh shit.
Was it Lancaster? Yeah. He got me within the first second.
He got me after.
We ended up playing 2 games on that field. It was immediate, like within a second. And I was like, "Oh, I'm out."
Yeah, you were out instantaneously.
So even with the rule implemented, I mean, you can still get shot. But it's always a staple to me. Even if they don't mention it, it's just mine's always kind of pointing at the ground and I pull it up.
Yeah, if I see Mikey on the other team, I don't care how far it is. I'm going to get out of the way because he can just
Yep.
snap up and hit you. I actually like waiting a
Yeah.
split second sometimes to see where the people go. Like especially if we're on village number 2, which for those of you who don't know, it's the map. It's there's 4 spawn points, and one of them's on top of kind of a hill. It's on a slight incline, but on the top of the hill, I don't worry because our guys always go down. It's easier for them to infiltrate the main part of the field. But I mean, I know I've got extra seconds up here before I have to move that I can say, hey, got 3 on the left, 2 on the right, and if there were 8, well, count up. We know how many are still inside. It's kind of a little technique with that. But I think markers down. Yeah, that's true. When Army Globe took over the LaSalle facility, that was the rule where the marker touches the back wall where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had played there for a few weeks before anywhere else, so it kind of drilled it in my brain. You know, when you first learn something, it's
There you go.
just a
Okay.
habit now.
Okay, here's one that's interesting because I remember when we asked at D-Day last year. I know D-Day marker hits count. That seems to be a Quebec thing at a lot of fields that if it hits your marker, it doesn't count. And when we asked them, it's like somebody said, Andrew, ask them if marker hits count, and it's like they're going to count. And so still ask them, and I asked them, and the organizer just looked at me like, yeah, of course it counts because it's pretty standard. The thing about marker hits not counting, I don't mind it as much as I think we should have a rule with it. First of all, once in a while, we should play a game when it's hardcore, just the main C1D guys, the experienced guys. I think it would be neat, like, hey, man, you get hit in the marker, you're out, or you can't use the marker anymore. So you either use the sidearm or just your mouth. And so
Yeah.
I think, again, so it's a rule, but I like marker hits don't count because the way we play, we have a lot of noobs and walk-ins come in with us, and they naturally sit in the doorway with their marker out, and it's almost too easy to hit them. So let's see. Marker hits don't count. How about Mike? What do you think about that?
I like what you said because I like scenarios and as realism as you can get. So I think that it would be really cool if we did some smaller games where it was like that. And I know not everybody likes sidearms, but again, like you said, you can still communicate as you see with Connor when he goes in with just a shield and how beneficial he is on the field. Like you can still talk and see you're not dead. Like dead men can't talk, so you can still do stuff. Or you can go run over to me and grab my sidearm. Like
That's
I've
what I was
thrown
gonna
my
say.
sidearm to people plenty of times.
That's what I was going to say.
So, and I really do like that. But when we're playing other games and stuff, I think marker hits should count. I want to say at Capital Combat, I'll just keep relaying over there because
Well, no, that's a place
Canada
you play in
and
a
the
lot.
States. But I'm almost say they don't count there. I don't think they count. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm over 50% sure they don't count there. So you can just keep rolling.
Connor, your thoughts?
I mean, I haven't really played too much with them counting, really form like a concrete statement, but personally, it feels kind of dumb to have them count because the thing is that whenever you're shooting, if you're playing fair, there's always a part of your body that's exposed. So if you're at something that's crouch level and you're peeking over it, right? It's your upper body, your head, and you're like this, right? You have plenty to shoot at. If you're leaning around something, it's your half your body, your shoulder, your head, and your arm with your marker, right? You already have plenty to shoot at. And so I think it's fair to, if you get hit on your marker, I think it's a little silly to include it. But
What about the hopper?
Yeah,
big ass hopper.
Exactly, and it's not like people are really using it as a shield. So
Kill hit.
yeah, that's a little silly, but I mean it's smart. But the only times I'd say like in a casual game it makes sense to have it included. Maybe it's because I played too much GTA and Gears of War with the combat system. But is that you can blind fire in those games.
Mhm.
You basically
Okay.
have to shoot their hand, and the equivalent of that in paintball would be to shoot their marker. And so blind firing was allowed. So if you didn't actually have to worry about safety things, I think shooting their marker would be awesome. Because it's like,
Right.
how hard is it to shoot, right? You can't see, right? You're protected, but you can't see, so you're shooting like that. But the trade off is that you can get hit still, even though you think you're safe.
Mhm.
But
Right.
in the games that we normally play, that you're already exposing yourself already like so much as is.
Mhm.
I don't think it's really. I don't think it really makes sense to have marker hits counting.
We could do it
Personally.
to mix things up once in a while.
Yeah, no,
I
for
guess.
sure. Like what you guys mentioned before with like a hardcore mode sounds awesome, and getting people to cooperate more.
Mhm.
Like it always really bums me out. Um, I don't really do this, but like to my friends like Colton and Michael, whenever they go out, it's like, oh, I'm out of air, out of balls. I'm like, bro, you're a bitch. Like, get back here. Like, you can still talk, you can still shoot your gun and pretend you have ammo.
Mhm.
And so I'd like that in the hardcore thing that it's like God, my weapon's damaged, right? I don't have a firearm anymore, whatever. I gotta I gotta stay in and help my team another way. And so I think
Yeah.
that's great because there's definitely some players that I think it'd be like good practice almost for people to rely on each other more as a team and to communicate and whatnot.
See, we're having this discussion. Next thing you know, in a couple months, we'll be out there putting this into
Yeah.
Actual play. Now, here's
Little do
something.
we know, though, in that mode, it probably only happened once per game that somebody
Yeah.
gets hit in their marker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it actually comes into play.
Now, here's something that we actually do is when we play a game with multiple lives, which means it's a longer game, which means you're more likely to run out of air or run out of ammo. I remember only one person's made that comment before, but I think, like, let's say you have 2 lives each in the game, and we're playing on Market. Market is it's got a lot of obstacles in it. For those of you who've never played, I say that 10 times a podcast. You never played there. A lot of obstacles in that. It's good. It's rectangular. You're hopping barricade to barricade. Look, some games you shoot everything right away, and some you're just hopping around, just waiting to get the right angle. But if you have 2 lives, and I run out of ammo because I only run with 6 mags, but I still have both my lives. I'll trade in a life. I can go get ammo and then come back, or go get air and come back. And I know some fields, if you're on an air, they'll let you go back on the honor system. But I think, like, for a multiple life game, it's like a trade for it. I just think it adds a different element to it. And like I said, and a lot of our guys do run MagFed. I'll say that for those of you who don't play with us. I mean, what do you guys think about? I mean, it's how we played last year. I did it myself 2 or 3 times. Connor, you did it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Connor, do you want to start on that one? I know Mike started the last topic.
Yeah, sure. The last time I really remember doing this was I think when we were playing with when Ben and Liam came out,
Yes.
and on Market where it happened where I didn't air up and get any ammo, so I went into that game with nothing. I pretty much just sat in the back with the kids, like telling them what to do. And once most of our team died, and I'm like, oh god, I actually have to start doing stuff with my limited ammo. I used one of my lives to refuel, whatever, get some balls, get some air. And honestly, I think that's really fair. Is that counts as a life? You're taking yourself out of the game, but you come back just like as you would if you were to get hit out. Maybe there's a limit to it too, so that you don't have a guy that's using a speedball marker that shoots 500 from spawn.
Yeah.
Okay, I just used my first life. I'm going back. Gets another 500. Gets another 500. So they shoot 1,500 and from spawn without whatever. But yeah, no, I think it's good, especially for like a longer type game with an objective too. Like when you do a big game, the many big games we do there. Is that you really don't want to use a life anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're like, shit, like do I stay in with the limited stuff I have, or do I do I take a life to, respawn and come back, more resources. So I think that's a really cool, like, little video gamey aspect to it.
Mr. Mike?
No, I agree with pretty much everything Connor just said. I think it's a fair way. I don't think I've ever had to do it, honestly. On the big games, we have multiple lives. I try to be a little sparing with my ammo on one sense. In another sense, I honestly usually die twice before I'll even need air. Or so I don't think I personally had to do it, but I think it's a great idea. Because you'd have someone like me not even intentionally doing it, but going in there and being like, "Oh, I got an extra time to take a few puffs off my cigar too, and load this and do that." And now I'm coming out. I still got 2 lives. It just doesn't make any sense because I just took 5 minutes when I probably would have got eliminated twice. So I think it's super, super good. Definitely for someone like me who
Yeah, I think
maybe takes an extra.
it's a strategic choice. Like Connor said, do I stay
Mhm.
in now or shit, I better go switch this up? And at the same time, it also shows that, hey, it's just a game. Oh, that sucks that happened. Go change your air. You got multiple
Yeah.
lives, go change your air, come back in. Hurry up, chop, chop. They may all be dead by the time you get back. Okay, I've got one more here.
Yeah.
And this is something that I guess it's not really a rule in the sense of it's something I think we really should do amongst ourselves more at Warzone, especially when it's just the guys. Ball does not have to break to count. I think we should do those games like once or twice a day. Have that, or maybe even having a whole day where if it hits you, you're out of there. I mean,
I think
worth a
some guys would
try.
appreciate that. There's people out there
Oh, you
who
mean
constantly
Norm?
get bounces.
Norm?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah.
The bounce king. So, Mike, I mean,
Yeah.
you're good with that. Like I said, we're planning for next year. That's what this podcast is turning into. So, we're gonna have some game. I don't think a whole day is like that, but a game is like that.
I'm totally fine with that. I'm even fine with it all day, as long as we have the honor system. Because I don't know how many times I've gotten either killed while looking. Oh, did I get hit? Did I get hit? Bam! Oh, well, I'm hit now.
Oh,
Like I probably have 20 videos where I've done that, and not only me, I have videos of getting Connor shot in the head, other people shot, and kill hit, being like, "Bro, why you keep asking me that? Why you keep asking me if you got hit?" And so, or if it's splattered, like, "Yo, is it broke? Is it broke?" So I really do like that. That way, I don't have to ask myself any questions. I don't have to get my teammates killed. I feel it. I know. I can hear it if it bounces off something hard. I like that idea. But the splatter is what also makes, differentiates paintball from airsoft. So I
Yeah.
really like,
Yes. Well,
but it is unfortunate with certain weather conditions and stuff. The ball's not breaking or being too far, or
yeah.
not your marker might not be aired up high enough, or there's a lot of reasons they don't break.
That's a good point. You could be out there and it's one of those days where they're not breaking and say, hey, you know what, guys? If it hits you, counts. Go from there. Maybe get the noobs off the hook. You got some kids playing in with you on that. Got some of the junior guys.
Mhm.
Connor, what do you think about that? As somebody that turned a situation around where that against Norm, where he hit you about 3 times in the chest and you end up winning the game right after because it didn't break.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like there's already enough times, as is for me, that how I play, the second I feel I'm hit, I always call out. Aside from that time that Norm got me a few times and I didn't call out, normally, like, especially with how I'm playing and I might run in and whatever, the second I feel I get hit, like anything touch me, I immediately stop shooting and I put my hand up.
When you feel
And
that
so,
you've been bested, is that safe to maybe say? Like they got you?
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, as soon as I feel something hit me, I stop and I don't ever look for paint. The only time I ever will, it's like, like something, I'm behind cover and it's like, like, I felt something pick me, whatever. So, playing with anything counts. I don't think it'd make too much
Not splash.
Of a
though.
difference?
Not splash. Just bounces also count.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean
splatter.
bounces. Yeah. As
Oh,
I,
yeah.
No,
personally, from like my experience, I feel like it'd be it wouldn't make too much of a difference for me. But other people, I think it'd be a little interesting, especially with how some people are they stick back and it's so hard to get a break on them because they're so far.
true.
It'd be cool, but I mean it'd be interesting to have for a game, but I don't know about a permanent rule. Maybe it'd be a good idea
No,
if
not
it was,
permanent.
so I wouldn't just die all the time. Like you don't mention it in some of the videos, but I remember like watching them. It's like, yeah, I went out this game because I thought I got hit. I actually didn't get hit.
Mm-hmm. That's a
Mhm.
bad
Especially on
habit.
base, I always feel like I get hits, but I'm actually hardly ever
Yeah,
hit on that field. So.
I have the problem, and because we play when we're playing at home, it's more casual. But Warzone is when I get hit and I go hit and I'll put my arm up, then I'll look and it's like, oh, it broke, and I'll put my arm down again. As I always think about that, it's like, you know what? When you commit and say hit,
Yeah,
you
like
really
you're
should
dead.
walk off the field
Yeah,
unless you go paint check
Mhm.
and put your arm out. And I'm really bad with that. I'm really bad with that. But I know when we're playing with the guys, it's like. But then I'll equally say there's one thing to say hit, and it's like, oh no, and I'll go like, oh no, it was a bounce. Something I've seen people do hit, and all of a sudden they're in. It's like, no, it bounced. It's like, then say it bounced. But but
Mhm.
Mm.
especially if it's. But like I said, we're talking about more like laid back scenarios with stuff like that. Okay, I got. Geez, we're making pretty good on this. Over half an hour just talking on
Yeah.
this nonsense. You got a question, sir?
I have a rule for you.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so
Specific. Uh-oh.
On the fly.
Does that mean I don't have to follow it?
I mean, no, Mike, you're being asked this too.
If we don't like it, we'll just
So,
vote it down, Connor. So don't worry. Mike and I will just gang up
well,
on you.
it's one I haven't ever heard of, really, and I'm thinking of it on the spot, so it might be absolutely horrible. But for capture the flag.
Okay.
So typically in video games, right? Let's say you're playing King of the Hill and Halo, Hardpoints, and Call of Duty. It's always to that first point. It's always an all-out rush. Everybody gets that point. They want to secure it before. But the point only unlocks to capture it after like 20 to 30 seconds, so that one team doesn't just get it right away and kind of win the whole point. So capture the flag. What are your thoughts on when the game starts? So when the game starts, the ref counts down. After 20 seconds or something, a ref blows a whistle or something that makes it that only then can you grab the flag.
You're almost talking like it's reminding me of the Spire rule that we did on the 1v1.
Well, yeah, but this is more like to counteract people just running in, immediately grabbing the flag and running out. So if you run
Which,
in,
let's be honest,
you can get
happens
the
a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. And so
Says the
maybe
guy
they
who
run in and they
presented the
get
rule.
the square secured.
Yeah.
Maybe they get the area around the flag secured, but they're not allowed to touch it until the ref blows the whistle after 20, 30 seconds.
And ladies and gentlemen, those of you who don't know, Connor is the king. I think it's safe to call him the king at running in when the capture the flag starts, running in, getting the flag, and going back. So him presenting this is probably, there's a lot of us who've witnessed this and been on the losing end often, with Connor on the winning end saying, that's a great idea, man.
Yeah.
I like it. Mike, what do you think?
I like it. It would definitely make for more interesting games because I'm not gonna lie, I have again 100 videos of 99 of them with Connor doing that, and one I think with Rob doing
Yeah,
it.
Rob.
Rob did a really good one too. So it's like
I
it does, and then we usually only play, then we switch sides, and then it's like, all right, let's play something else.
Yeah.
I think we might be able to stretch, maybe 4 games or a few more games out of it because it would make it a little more interesting.
When Rob did his run, He was on our. I think he was. It was on my. Was he on your team as well, Mike? Were we on the same team for that one?
Yeah.
Because when he came back at spawn, because I stayed at spawn because he did it right away, and he collapsed, and I just kind of leaned over him.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, are you okay, man? Like, he didn't say anything, you know. Connor does it. It's like, it's a high five, and that's Rob. It's like, man, are you going to be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great
Call an
idea.
ambulance.
Call an ambulance. That's why you don't see me do it. And do you remember last year where
You don't do it, but Jeff's brave enough to do it.
Jeff did it. Jeff shouldn't do it. Jeff should not do it. He had open heart surgery a couple of years ago, and he did it. I think that actually, I thought of a little game type that might be interesting with noobs. Actually, I ran it by Connor already. It was the idea of, you know, when you get a party of new players, like let's say kids, hockey party comes in. So you got like 12 on each side. And let's say they're playing on market, which is a hopscotch field, for like I mentioned before, is you get like 4 veterans, 2 on each side with no markers. And you tell them, you know what? All right, guys, kids, let's say kids. All right, guys, get over here. This is what we're going to do. It's like me and Connor are on your team, but we don't have markers. Mike and Nick are playing on the other team. Okay. One of us old guys, the game is over if we touch the enemy spawn. So your little teammates here who are learning the game, and they could be 50 cal as well. So, and I'm not saying like Connor going to capture the flag mode, beast mode, just running in, but where it could kind of be fun because you can help direct the kids around, you know, and do stuff like that. Like, hey, I see Nick. He's on the left side. Get Nick. And you send like your minions over to get them. I think that might be fun to try with the kids one day. Is that a thumbs up on those ones, gentlemen?
Kind of like a VIP mode or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm always down for stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have an idea for a game that we haven't played. I mean, I don't know if we can. Maybe in Village. Is there a center? It doesn't even have to be a building, but like walls or something center in Village, like 100% centralized.
Not 100%. The well generally is.
Not really.
But it's a little bit south of the well, the actual geographical center of that.
At Capital Combat Zone, they have a couple different places that they mark off when we play these games. They have these octagon buildings, and it has a flag pole in the center of it. And on one end, it's got, you know, what I think they're red and blue. But either way, it's got the 2 colors, and you pull up the flag and whatever's in the air. So you ultimately you want to get the position, pull your flag up, but it makes for a fun, longer game because you have like unlimited lives, but there's a spawn timer. There's different ways to do it, so you're not just running back and forth. That's spawn timers, or you know, different ways. But it's just really cool, and it was one of the most intense game modes I think I've ever played. Because I was laying down in the middle of this octagon, covering the only door and window, and every time someone would run in the building, I would just shoot him in the knees. And it was the funnest thing ever. It was my first time ever playing paintball too.
Oh yeah,
and I've just yet to play something like that. And it was raining, and I felt like I was in war. And I just really think if we could bring that somewhere, or even in the center of, it would be too small. But they'll figure it out somewhere.
Figure it out on market. It will work. Market it will work.
Somewhere in the center.
That's fun. I like this. It's like we're doing off-season planning.
It was so much fun.
We could do something with that.
What do you guys think about
slapstick? A slapstick in the middle like that, where it counts off for points. So if the referee can keep track of it, if the game ends, like it's a hardcore end, like guys, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, the game is over.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. Whatever was up when the whistle blew, and there was a 10-second, maybe 20-second, like the dude on the megaphone counting down. So it made those last 10, 20 seconds like super intense.
Yeah.
Coordinating rushes, and it was really cool.
And I like the idea of it. It just be a problem though. I feel like on Warzone fields it's too open in the middle. Like the one time we had to do the money bag or whatever on Village.
Village, yeah.
I think it was with Antoine. where he ran for it and he just got like lit up.
Yeah.
Where it's just right in the middle.
And he's a
And it's
fast,
kind of like
smart
no
player,
shit.
dude.
It's way too open that you can't really put anything in the middle and make it an objective without nobody wanting to run for it. I'll be honest, I wouldn't even run for it. If there's no momentum rule, then nobody's gonna run for it. But then if there's a momentum rule and it's time based, right? What's stopping me and Nevin from being on the opposing teams and just be like, okay, he's gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. I don't care how many times I get hit. Over and over and over and over. So that's the only problem. Like, Mike, I'm not trying to like shoot down your idea.
No,
because
no,
I love
you're
that.
good.
Like,
It's on
I
that
didn't
field.
work
incorporate
so
that
much
into
on that
modes that we
field.
play. That it's like
Yeah.
not a single life. There's an objective you have to do. Because I just hate when a
Mhm.
mode turns into a team deathmatch.
Yeah, and they always do.
Yeah.
And which leads me to my next comment that I want to throw in real quick, because all the work they put into that bomb one, we really got to. I think we really.
I thought
gotta
about that
utilize
just
that
the
a few
other day
times.
too.
We gotta play that.
I was thinking, like, I know I pitched it a few times, but it was like always like after games or on the sidelines to people who just gotten out and stuff. But I was always a really big fan of Counter-Strike. Um, so I was thinking like using, how we use the 3 maps, have the 2 spawns, you do like a terrorist, counter-terrorist, 2 bomb sites, very spread apart.
Mhm.
That way, the one team doesn't just go to the bomb site and you can't get there to plant the bomb, etc. So the terrorists have to come in, they choose what site they want to go to. Counter-terrorists have to block both of those sites. You plant the bomb, you have the timer go off, and it's got, I don't know if you've ever played Counter-Strike. I'm sure it's similar to like Siege or whatever. Maybe it was like that. I can't remember. But I just think it would be hard to get it perfect, but I think it would be so immersive for at least me.
Well,
I think it'd be a good idea, especially with the 4th fields being opened up top terminal.
Oh,
Is that you have that as one of the bomb sites, and maybe the other site is like in the middle of market.
Mm-hmm.
So you have them close, but not too close where you can see one from
Too
the other.
close.
And
Exactly.
I think it could definitely work. Just the problem is with when we were playing it before, we were kind of too limited, right? It wasn't enough.
Yeah, we also had no
So-
idea what we were doing. We were just trying to. I think we've only tried it once.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, the mode that we did, I forget whose idea it was, but I just knew right away when you could hide the bomb wherever. It's like, why don't you just hide it on the complete opposite corner of where the other team spawns? And that's what
That's
happened.
why I like bomb sites, and then like someone I know it's kind of hefty, but you have an escort. You could send like 2 guys to B, and then someone's like, "Oh, they're going to B," but the other 4 are actually going to A with the bomb.
You really need a very specific number of people, though, because if this is like obviously unrealistic, if it's 20 on 20 on defense, right? You think, okay, we're going to split about half and half to each one, and maybe put some guys in between to rotate over. As the attackers, when you have that many people, what's stopping all of them just going to the same site that they want to plant at?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was definitely not a big game for sure.
Yeah. But it's like a sweet spot. It's like, how many people would you want, right? It's because if we're doing a mini big game like type thing where it's the whole entire thing open up top, right? It can't be 5 on 5 like it is in Counter-Strike. It's a little, or maybe it could. So I don't know, like what the good number is. Maybe like 8 on 8 or.
I like
something.
the idea of 8.
We'll find that sweet spot.
By the way, this year I am going to try. I mean, I've already got the schedule out. We'll do that where it's like, okay, this game is just a regular game day, but I'm going to write bomb. So we're bringing the bomb. We're going to use it. We say the first 2 to 4 games are warm up, and then we start playing some bomb. We can even talk about it the week before we play on exactly what we're going to do and go from there. I mean, we've already started a schedule where, regular game days, we're going to play Lancaster here. We're looking to go to Capital Combat Zone. I didn't call it Capital City Combat Zone for once. So I think by us planning a little better, it'll be good. It'll be that much better. Limited ammo day or whatever.
Absolutely.
And that's cool. Well, gentlemen, it's I'm going to start the winding down of the show. I actually like this because I like just writing stuff down, chatting about it. It is the off season, It's almost preseason. I think it's preseason. We're all getting ready for it. Got to make sure
They're
everything's still working
they're
out there.
pumping out a lot of new stuff. So they know the paintball season's heating up because they're pumping out all kinds of new everything.
Well,
Unless it's just I've been talking about it a little more, but my feed and everything is just full of all these new markers and new masks and new remakes of older stuff. The grills, you do the V-Force, right?
Yes. Yeah, they redid. Yeah, I got
They have
grills.
new
the
design.
profiler. The profiler is new. They've that's Connor's old mask was a profiler, which is a V-Force, and it looks
I was
sharp.
just looking at them before. They redid pretty much everything on those.
Yeah, the thing about the
I
profiler.
mean, they look similar, but super nice.
The thing about the profiler, Connor, correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I noticed is it does have a low profile, like it's just above your eyebrows, so your forehead is an even bigger target. And of course, with the grills, it's kind of got the angry eyebrows that kind of go up a little bit to protect a little more. But absolutely comfortable, very comfortable mask. I think it's Colton's mask now, Connor. When he comes out, he usually puts that one on.
Pretty much, yeah.
Little does
He's
he know.
earned it.
Little does he know that I told him I cleaned it out since you last used it, but no, I didn't. I just, I smoked a few cigars and I walked around the house with it on,
Sneezed.
Get that.
I'm sure he appreciates it. He's not a. I don't know. I remember in field trip we went on in high school. This is in grade 7, so like we just met, and it wasn't me, but somebody was just dropping like the goldfish crackers on the floor. They're just eating them off the floor like a dog.
I love
Oh
Colton.
my god.
Yeah, so he's if you told him that you like took a shit not with the mask but in the mask, I think he'd say you, but then still put it on.
Put it on without cleaning it.
I don't know. Yeah.
I love Colton. Colton is that one guy. Every guy has one guy in his group that's the Colton. And yeah, Colton's a great guy. He's a pretty freaking good player.
Was he the guy in like lunch where everyone at the end of lunch would like just put everything in like a container, all the nasty shit like applesauce, cream corn, and then chicken nuggets, and match it all up, and then be like, okay, who's gonna eat this? Was that him?
Yeah. He'd eat anybody's leftovers and stuff.
And when we started to bring Connor's friends to play paintball, when we started C1D, we got all these little guys, just early teens playing. I knew at one point one would do it. He is the one that ate the first paintball in front of me. He goes, I'll eat it. And he had braces at the time. It's like, do not screw up your braces, kid, because you explain that one to your parents when you get home, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, about the new stuff and the new gear, I want to do that for the next podcast. We talk a little bit about that. Maybe we get in Jeff or maybe even Nick, who knows a lot about what's going on out there with equipment and that, our Lieutenant Gadget. We'll talk about that. Before we do say our goodbyes here, I should say at the beginning, please subscribe so you know when our latest podcast is out. If you're listening this on YouTube, subscribe there too. It's just little thanks, a little bit of motivation for us. I guess that's all. I just like to thank people for being here. And especially comments. When people comment on anything, I tend to write it down and see if I could use it in the show and follow up on it. Because I mean, for me personally, obviously, the extracurriculars outside of the field, like this podcast, is something that's appealing to, safe to say, at least 3 of us on this podcast right now. So if you want to make a comment, if you want to get involved, discuss anything, just drop us a line. We'll try to add some time for you. So, Mike, anything to say to the masses before signing off today, this morning, whenever they're listening?
Just get ready for paintball season because it's right around the corner.
There we go. Plus, I'm forging a paintball map on Halo Infinite, but that's a whole other thing. Now, Connor, I've committed to it. Oh, shit.
Watching you use the forge is pretty funny.
I just got to know how to link everything and duplicate it, and we'll be okay. And I was tripping through that. I could do it on the old forge, but anyway. Any other parting shots, Connor?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really in the traditional paintball hoop. Like, it's not on my socials, so I mean, I wasn't really aware that paintball season's imminent since there's still snow outside. But I'm excited.
Yeah, there's money in
Be
Dad's
gone
bank
soon,
account
my
for
friend.
now. And when it goes away, that's when the season really ends and it builds up and comes back again. That's
Mm.
the circle of paintball life. Thank you for listening on behalf of myself, Mike, Connor, and the C1D family. The C1D family, a good Irish family getting together. We're listening to some folk tunes. We're listening to an old special Gagno folk tune written 200 years ago. It's called Pinball Wizard. Good traditional song. I really need some sleep after that. I don't know where that came from. Thank God for
Yeah.
editing.
Oh man, you got to go to sleep.
Thanks for
It's
listening,
30
everybody.
minutes past your bedtime.
Damn.
Later.
Damn. Don't let the warden know. Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like us, rate us, and tell everybody about us. Thanks for listening.